Hello there and welcome back. My name is Felix Hernandez and this is our fourth lesson and last one of this series of masterclass with Affinity Photo. For this one we are going to be working with this guy, it's Jimmy, and before we jump into Affinity Photo, I want to show you a video of what it went into the production for making the images for our lesson. And of course you can download these images. They are available in the link below, so you can follow along this lesson. So let's go and watch the video. So this is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a tabletop shot, meaning that the camera is going to be placed above. And I'm using just some tiles as our background and this wooden cutting board. I have already placed Jimmy, and this is going to be kind of a surgery operation scene. So I'm just adding different elements that I used for creating this little character. And I'm trying to make a composition where everything points to the center of attention, that is of course Jimmy. You can see here I'm using like these devices for stop motion. And now here I'm setting the camera. I'm just putting the head of the tripod on a C-stand. And here, instead of using the 100mm lens, I'm using a 50mm. And it's really handy to have the flipping screen so you can see what you are doing when you are taking these kind of photos. So you don't need a ladder to go up and see. And just trying to center the camera to the scene. Focusing, and again, the flip screen, really handy. I'm going to make 4 different shots for this one. So I will try to shoot from the screen, trying not to move the camera. This is a 2-light setup. So there I have the top light with a softbox and the screen. And you see the other light also coming from the top. That's the focus light. There you have the softbox with the grid. And now you can see what the focusing light is doing. You can manage the aperture because it has like a ring. This light, again, has a lens in front. So you can do the beam wider or smaller, harsher or softer. I mean, you don't need this kind of light, but it's you have more control over where you put the light in the scene. And in this case, in the 4 photos that I'm going to take, I'm going to place my hand. It's part of the photo, and I'm just placing the hand in different positions with different tools and taking the photos. So here I did an extra shot. As you can see, the little Jimmy has some practical lights, meaning that the light is coming from the scene. But at the end, I decided not to use that image. We are not going to use it because I want to add the lights digitally so I can have control over the image so they can turn on and off. So there you have the different photos. different positions, and these two are to do a small animation. You can see they're just going back and forward. We can add some motion, some animation to this image. And that's it. Great, so now it's time to take those photos into Affinity and create something. So let's go. Well, now we have here all of our files. We are going to be working with these 4 photos and also an extra image for some digital effects. And the first thing I see here is, I don't know why, I have some of the photos in horizontal and other ones in vertical. And I don't know why, because we took the photos with the camera in the same place. I didn't move the camera, but that doesn't matter. We are going to fix that in Affinity Photo. So I'm going to take the 4 photos and open them in Affinity. And here we have them in the develop persona. 1, 2, 3, 4, since they are raw photos. We already went through that in lesson 1 and 2, so I'm not going to make any changes, just for making it quicker. So I'm just going to go and develop each one of them. So the first one, develop. The second one, develop. Third one, develop. And the fourth one, develop. So now we have our 4 files opened in Photo Persona, and I want to gather all of them just in one. So I'm going to take this one, copy and paste it here. This one, copy and as well paste it here. And the last one, copy and paste them here. So I have my 4 files just in one. I can close the other ones. I'm not going to use them anymore. There we go. And now we have to decide if we want to work horizontal or vertical. I think that horizontal is going to be better. But first, I'm going to align all the images. So let me see. This one. So this one has to be turned this way. With Shift, it will do it totally vertical. Now for the next one as well. Shift. And this one is okay. So now, no, it's not okay. So as well, just turn it around, and there we go. So they are not aligned. So I'm going to select the 4 of them, and I'm going up here, alignment, and I'm going to choose the horizontal to the center and vertical as well to the center and to the spread. That means the size of my document. Here and here both are in a spread. So apply, and this way we have now 1, 2, 3, 4. That easy. Now if we want to make this horizontal, let's go to our document, and we have some options. We are going to rotate clockwise, oh no, the other way, anti-clockwise. And there we go. It has rotated all of our document. Well, now we have to organize our layers. So we are going to use these 2 layers. The hand is in the same position, but you can see I'm just making a movement with the hand. So, because one of these layers, we are going to use it for an animation, okay? So, the last one, when I push into the bottom, this is one to be used at the end, and I'm going to name this one animation, and we're going to keep it for the end. So I'm going to combine this one with this one and with this one. So I think as our base layer, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to call it base, and then this is going to be 1 and 2, just to have everything in order. I made this one as the base layer because I think that this line between the two tiles is distracting, but I already have my hand here. So I'm gonna clean up this line between the two tiles, but I don't have to clean all the line like in this one because I already have my hand. So I'm going to use this one as the base. So remember making a new layer on top. And now maybe it can be with the clone stamp tool or maybe with the patch tool. Let's try with the patch tool. But we have to go to current layer and below. So we are going to fix that in this blank current layer, but taking the information of the layers that are below. So I'm just going to select this area about there and take it to, I'm going to the other side. I'm going to make a new selection. Okay, we still have some small details, but for that we are going to use the clone stamp tool. Here we have it, and again it has to be in the current and below. So from here to here. Oh, I didn't apply here the patch tool, so I'm going back again, from here to here. Okay, perfect. And now the clone stamp from here to here. Okay, I think you can do a better job, but for now it's okay. I also want to see if I have some details that I don't like. But no, I think we are okay. So now I can bring these two in a folder and just put it base. And now we are going to enable our first layer. And for this layer, we only want the hand, right? So we are going to make mask. We are, right now, you can see all the image because our mask is in white. So we are going to fill that mask, edit, fill, with black. You saw how here we have the mask in white, so it shows everything. And if we fill our mask with black, then it hides everything. I'm going to apply that because we just want to paint now with our brush and with white over the area we want to reveal. I'm using a soft brush just to have like a smoother transition. Just making sure to add the shadow. Perfect. So the before and after, okay? And we are going to do the same thing for our second layer, which is the hand here below. So again, we're going to do a layer mask. We are going to fill it with black, And by the way, you can go to fill, or you can go directly fill with primary color or with secondary color. We are going to fill it with the primary color. There it's black. And now we are going to paint with white again over this area. There we go. So at this point, we have our base, layer 1 and layer 2. And we have one more layer that we are going to use later for our animation. Great. Now we are going to add some details. I think that I'm going to make a new layer, and I think we are going to paint some oil leaks coming from his leg, between the leg and the boot. This is like a repair surgery scene of a robot. So I'm gonna take my brush, and here we have different kind of brushes. Normally we have been working with the basics, but for this I'm going to watercolor, and I'm just going to grab this one that we already have selected, and I don't want to paint with black. I'm going to paint maybe with some kind of brown. It's perfect. And I'm going to make my brush small, and I'm going to lower my flow, and I'm just going to paint here. So each time I go over the same place, it adds more of that paint. I'm going to get closer. You can try with different brushes, and we can go even further. Maybe right now it's in normal, the blending mode. We can change it to, that looks fine, maybe overlay, maybe some more spots here, around here, around there, and lowering the opacity. And maybe because here we have this tissue, kind of napkin or something, I'm going to make one more layer, and just the corner I'm going to paint it with the same color. And again, you can take your time and do it better. For this one, I think I'm going for multiply. No, I think that overlay. But then I'm going to make a new layer and grab a darker value of that brown color and paint on top. Okay, and I'm going for, again, maybe soft light. Right, so I'm going to take all of these layers and I'm going to put them in a folder, and I'm going to name it file 1, and I'm going to duplicate this group. So duplicate, and I'm gonna name it file 2. So at this point we have two folders, two groups that are just the same. But for file 2, we are going to open that folder, and now we are going to replace this. Let me see, where do we have our base? We are going to replace this image with this image. So I'm just going to take the animation layer that we had. I'm going to take away the other one. I'm going to enable, Okay, we are just replacing. But of course, we have to do a layer mask for this one. We are going to fill that layer mask with black. And again, we are going to paint with black, but now just with a basic brush, a soft brush. There. Bigger. Oh. Smaller. It has a lot of shadows around there. Remember, smooth transitions. Smooth transitions. So now if we close a folder, we have the folder of the file 1 and the file 2. So here is our little animation. Now, before we go forward, I just forgot to save my document. Really important. So, robot lesson 4, my desktop, and save. Great, now we're ready to continue. And what I want to do, I want to have 2 versions of this photo. Well, we already have 1 and 2. But when I push into the robot, I want to add something else. So inside this folder, on top of everything, I'm going to bring an image and I'm going to add some sparks. Remember that we have already done this by playing with the blending modes. So for this one, I'm going to use the screen blending mode. Screen. I think a little bit smaller. But I'm kind of seeing, maybe you cannot see it, but I'm seeing the surroundings of this image, and I don't like that. So I'm going to take it back to normal so you can see. And remember that the screen blending mode takes away everything that is dark or black. But I guess this image is not completely black. So I'm going to do, I want to have control over it. So I'm going to put a folder inside the folder. I'm going to take my image inside that folder and call it sparks. And on top of it, I'm going to do a layer adjustment, some levels, and I'm going to make it even darker. Okay, so brighter the lights and a little bit darker the surrounding. And now, if we apply the screen, I no longer see the surrounding box. Around here, maybe even a little bit smaller. And maybe I can rotate it because here I see like a highlight, a vertical highlight. And I think that will be great if it matches with the tool around there. Really easy. So if we close our folder, something is wrong, right? I think we put that in the wrong the sparks in the wrong folder, so I'm going to take this folder out, close it, and put it in the first one. Let's see now. Yeah, there we go. Now it makes sense. So when pushing forward, you see the sparks. So there we have it. I also want to make the eyes to light up when we are pushing the tool. So in the same folder or group where we have the sparks, I'm going to create some lights in the eye. So for this one, I will start with my pen tool. And before we go, just make sure to enable the use fill. So we are going to fill that selection. So I'm going, let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going from here to here, 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 and here. But of course, we don't want that fill in brown. We can change it here or here. Double tap. And I think I'm going with the bluish tone, some kind of a electric blue there. And I'm going to make a second one for this side, from here to here, here. Great. I'm going to add some blur for both. So I'm going to take the first one, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, around 1. Right. I think now I'm going to make 2 more selections over this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But now I'm going to fill those with white, or it could be like a lighter blue, and the same for the other one. I think I'm going to blur them. Filter blur, Gaussian blur, not so much. There. And the same for the other one. I can repeat the Gaussian blur. Okay. Let me see how it's looking. I think we need like a more glowing light, so new layer. And now with our brush tool, I'm going to select, again, we have different options. Here we have these ones that I have made called Dreamphography. There are a lot of brushes, and these are, by the way, available for free in Affinity Photo. These are part of my second time with Affinity Photo. So here we have like different light effects. Just this one that is really simple. You can see the shape of the light. And yes, I will be painting with white. I'm just going to make it much, much smaller. And maybe around here. 1. This is going to be smaller. And 2. But I'm going to apply overlay. And I'm going to do one more layer, but now I'm going to be painting with kind of a yellow tone and making it bigger, maybe around here. And I'm going to change the blending mode to, see, overlay, or I think overlay is going to work well. I'm just lowering the opacity, something like that. I'm going to take all these light effects, grab them and call them lights. So great. So we have our eyes and we have our sparks, all in the file 1 folder. So now we have our two versions, 1 and 2. Perfect. Now I'm going to do some final adjustments. I think I want to add more vignette. We already have natural vignette, the way we did our lighting setup, but I think I want a little bit more. So I'm going to do a new layer over everything, and I'm going to go and fill with black. Just going to lower the opacity to see what we are doing. A layer mask, and now we are going to start painting with black. Sorry. I'm going to take the flow lower, bigger brush. This way we have total control over it. So let me see. I'm going to lower the opacity around there. Okay, the before and after. And I'm also going to make a layer adjustment, maybe the hue and saturation, HSL. I'm going to add more saturation there. I'm not going to shift the color. There. Maybe a curves adjustment, curves to the overall image. Here you have the individual channels, the S curve, and maybe one more, maybe playing with the color balance and adding to the shadows like a cooler tone, and to the highlights a warmer yellowish reddish tone to have more contrast. Okay, and I'm going to take all these adjustments and I'm just going to duplicate them, because I want to assign these adjustments to one folder, to both of the folders. So I'm just going to duplicate, and I'm going to grab the first set and place them in the file 2 over everything. There we go. And the set 2 of adjustments inside the folder 1 on top of everything. So there we go. Now the only thing we have to do is to export our two layers, and I will show you the end animation. But so let's disable one of the layers, just getting one, the file 1, and going to File, Export. For video you can export it in JPG or PNG. PNG has not a stronger compression, so I will leave it in PNG. And 8 bits, it's okay. And let's export. You can call it robot 1. And now we are going to enable the file 2. And the same thing. File, export, PNG, 8 bits, export, robot 2. So it was easy. We have 2 files, one of each layer, and with them you can do a really simple animation of 2 frames in any video editor. And of course, I'm going to show you the end result. Great, so here you can see how I have applied the 2 stills to a really simple animation. You can do this with almost any video editor, just playing with some of the basic movements, like zooming out the stills and hiding and revealing one of the stills in the timeline. So this will give you the sense of movement. It's really, really easy. You can even add some sound effects and music to enhance your animation and, of course, to tell your story. So hey, that's it. We have created 4 images with these little guys through this masterclass with Affinity Photo. I hope you found some inspiration through these lessons. And of course, any comments or recommendations, please put them below and I will do my best in answering them. And well, thank you so much for watching and following along these lessons. And thank you, Affinity Photo, for having me here. It was really a complete joy. Hope to see you soon, and adios.